Roses are red, violets are blue. I've got a tutorial just for you. Okay, so on today's tutorial, I wanted to do something that was kind of Valentine themed, and I thought what best than to show you guys how to make what I call like the Sweetheart Lolita front dress, which is when you see a Lolita dress with a heart in the front. A lot of times it's pleated, and that's obviously the hardest part of this tutorial. So for this tutorial, I expect you to have some decent knowledge of pattern working because we're going to modify this pattern here, which is McCall 7626. So you're going to need that pattern. I've drawn out a rough sketch of what I want to make because I still have a blouse I want to make to go with this, but that's not going to be done in this tutorial. We're just going to talk about the dress. So this is pattern piece 1. This is the front of your bodice. And this is important because I'm going to show you how this part is definitely needing to be edited. So what you want is you want the front to be curved and a sweetheart front, which means it resembles like the heart. You don't want it to be straight like in the pattern. And this is a pretty simple way to edit the pattern and just kind of make sure that it looks good on you. Okay, so you're also going to need your main fabric, whatever the pattern requires. I think I have like 4 yards of this stuff because I actually had it for something else. And you're just going to cut pattern piece 1 on the fold. Another pattern piece of this pattern that I edited, you may not want to because maybe you want pockets in your dress, which is piece 8. And I just straightened that up because I didn't want pockets. Now go ahead and follow steps 1 through 8 of your pattern, and you're going to have your bodice all done. So I've got my bodice done and the midline belt area done, and I'm now going to use my curved measuring tapes. You don't need to have curved measuring tapes, you'll just have to measure how wide you need your heart to be. But for me, I have them, and it was going to be super easy to kind of get the shape of the heart I wanted. But you can always just measure out how wide you need it and do it by hand on paper. That's kind of the shape I like, so get your paper now and just draw along that shape. Like I said though, you don't have to have these. You just need half a heart, and we've all kind of done that, I'm sure, at some point in elementary school. I'm mostly using it to get my curve nice and neat because I'm obviously not going to have it that awkwardly shaped. So I'll cut it out, and I'm just making sure that I like how it looks on both sides over the front. Now you're going to cut out your fabric. Whatever fabric you want your heart to be made out of. I went with the hot pink cotton because I like how it kind of went with my strawberries. So now you want a pretty large piece of fabric. This one's about 20 inches wide, and I think I made it about 19 inches tall. You want a lot to work with. Now I've gone through and I've marked every inch starting from the middle. And I'm just using my middle seam, like the middle fold line that the fabric already had. So here I've drawn the lines, and now we're going to pleat it. So I'm just gonna start with taking one line, so basically your second line out from the center, and bringing it to the first line from the center, if that makes sense, and pin it in place. Of course, you can pleat this any way you want. This was just exactly the size pleats that I wanted. You can make it bigger pleats or smaller pleats. Obviously, the smaller the pleats, the more fabric you're going to need to pleat your fabric. And just keep on pleating it. I like to press my pleats as I go because I just find it easier. It doesn't get all bulky and messy. And you're going to do this on both sides. But obviously the other side, you're going to bring your pleats the other way in towards the center. And that's what I mean by press as you go, because it'll just start popping up. So I like how much I pleated out, because I didn't need the edge of my heart pleated. Alright, so you got both sides pleated. They're both coming towards the center. And I have as many pleats as I want. So I'm going to put my heart on top. And I'm going to pin it to that fabric, keeping all the pins in. So, side note, you probably should, if you did what I did and you have pins in the center of the pleats, take those out at this time. Or else you're going to have to unpleat your, go back in and take them out. I didn't think that through when I was doing this part of the video, and I actually had to unpin the heart and go back in and take those pins out. So now we're going to go over to the sewing machine, and you can baste this part if you like, or do a regular stitch. I just basted it because I knew I was going to stitch over it again. So you baste stitch just around the edge of that heart to the pleated fabric. Now I get away with this, and I get to do it all the way around because I know I don't need to flip it right side out, because I'm going to have a lace trim around my heart. If you don't want to do a lace trim or a bias tape trim, you're going to need a slight opening to flip your heart right side out so that you have a nice seam. I personally think it looks better with a lace trim because it adds to the Lolita look. Like I said, I don't go into a lot of the gritty details of the pattern in this tutorial. I mostly just want to show you guys how to get the heart look. And you don't even have to make a dress. If you have a dress that has a sweetheart front to it and you want to add this onto it, then this is a perfect tutorial for you as well. I've just seen a lot of dresses, Lolita sweetheart dresses with this kind of front, and I was really inspired to do it and figure out how they did it. So now, as you can see, I'm trimming away that fabric. Just, don't cut into your baste stitch or else you'll lose everything. And the reveal. That's the back. And here's the front. All nice and pleated. I obviously need to iron it down a bit so that it's flatter, but that's how I made my pleated heart. And this actually took me a while to figure out. I'm so excited. So I'm now going to do my trim, which will be, I went with a red lace, again to tie it in more with the red strawberries on some of my fabric. And I'm just pinning it along. This part went so nice and smooth, and I was really happy. So at the top, you might have to, nip it a little bit just to get that curve nice and clean. I didn't have too many problems because I didn't have a really sharp curved heart, So here I've gone ahead and I've sewn my lace all the way around it. And now I'm just gonna pin it and find where I want it, where I like it lying on the bodice top. Now just take your time here, there's no rush, just kind of figure out. The main thing is you want it to be equal so that it's not lopsided. So I did unfortunately lose the next bit of footage, I just didn't record. But what I did is I just sewed it in a small part at the top of the curve and then at the bottom of the heart. I didn't sew all the way around because that would make it bulk funny and make the dress look a bit odd. So you only really need to get the curved part sewn on and then the bottom part sewn on. That way your heart still stays nice and fluffy looking. And here I did that. I sewed it on. And I'm done with the hard part of the dress. You just need to go ahead and finish your dress up by following steps 17 through 23. And you can do any additional work that you would like to do onto it, like adding buttons, bows, a ruffle trim, etc. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. Happy Valentine's Day, and don't forget to subscribe. I look forward to doing a lot more Lolita breakdowns in the future of some popular dresses I've seen in the Lolita community. So, till next time.